Karim, before we jumped into this interview, you handed me a paper to look at. Talk about some of the key takeaways from Arthur D. Little's paper on transformation and innovation.
Thank you for the question. Yes, we today released a report on that because we felt that there is not much literature on how telcos should partner with startups. So I think the objective was today, as well in the presentation, to highlight some of the challenges they have going through the different steps of from seeking to sustaining the business model, right? Scaling and sustaining the business model. These are the three challenges. Some operators are very good in seeking, others are in scaling, but none of them we see excelling in all the three elements. So the intention was to propose a framework which we build on the pyramid, from the engine to the enabling to the business model interacting with the customer. At all these levels, there are opportunities to seek for partnership and to define a model that works for both, for the corporate as well as for startups. And last but not least, I think it is important also to consider the soft parameters, the mental model. It's a matter of attitude, how to spread this innovative thinking across the organization. It's not enough just to do it in one area. So you need to think of the governance. Once you partner with the startups, make sure that the startup has enough, let's say, agility and opportunity to further reinvent itself and move forward. So there is a lot of, let's say, elements that are still being tested. There is no cookbook, there is no recipe that works for everyone. We believe that all of them are engaged in a journey right now. Mm-hmm. And ultimately, what corporate need to understand is that if they partner or acquire a startup, the objective of the startup is not to remain a startup, but to become a full-fledged, sustainable big company as well. So all these parameters need to be considered ahead. And I was giving the example of the stage, the evolution of a startup, from the idea creation to go to market, to scale. The startups need to be clear how to match at what moment of time with the corporation, at what stage. Mm-hmm. And the corporation also have different level, I would say, of maturity in terms of co-creating value from the idea generation up to only considering a mature startup to engage with a corporation. Otherwise, you would not do so. Mm-hmm. So both of them need to understand the stage of maturity of the other to seek for cooperation upfront.
And you cited Swisscom as an example of a success.
Yes.
What makes them successful?
Okay, thank you for mentioning Swisscom. What I wanted to bring across here is that open innovation is not only relevant for large global players. It could be also for small incumbent relatively to the size of the market, and they're doing very well in the market, but it's still a small country in Europe. Mm-hmm. So they have managed at all levels of the organization to drive innovation with a clear principle, which I mentioned early in my presentation today, and they have more than 50 participation, partnership, cooperation in their core business, as well as in, let's say, adjacent segments, whether it's health, whether it's energy, whether it's call centers and broadcasting. So they managed to create an environment that give them competitive advantage when it comes to innovation, thanks to the open innovation model they have, embracing, so to say, from the idea creation to partnering with a sustainable company and integrating this in their core business ultimately.